Huh. All right. Here I am. Oop, look, that camera, something's wrong with that camera. Let's try that one. Okay. That one's working. Oh, something's wrong with the laptop camera. Well, okay, no problem. Without further ado, we're going to continue the project. So let's go back to the sewing table. Here is the towel I was talking about. Now, what's interesting about this is that the edges already have a seam. So let's take advantage of this, since that's the side that I don't have to serge. Now the other side also has a similar seam. So why don't we do this? We'll fold this in half like so. Now here, let's see. Okay, let's see how we're going to do this now. Okay, these are fold that in half like that. Okay, here is the seam that we want to sew on. So let's move this up like this. Take one of these. So that seam is going to be sewn to this. And let's see, it wants to be, we're going to do this. We're going to cut, it's going to be something, oh boy, I got to think about this because I want to, let's do this. This has to be extended. So, let me move this down to here. So, we need to cut it here. Okay, and stitch this onto here. So that will provide an extension to here. Well, actually here, the strip can be here. But we're also affected by this. Although, let's see, so that will bring us two strips this wide. Unless we can figure something else out, we could, let's see, this. Let's see, think about that now. We have a maximum width of that right there. So let's go ahead, cut these right here. So we're going to spread this out like, let's see, like so. Get that under the camera. You can see what the heck I'm doing. Okay, get these seams here lined up like that. Okay, remembering that we're going to be sewing that onto here, like that. We're going to cut these right there along that line right there. Something like that. So actually, let's think about this now. We need length. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We can do is cut it. We're going to be going a length, something like this. So it's going to be, let's cut this like this so there's not as much waste. So let's take, let's see, this, something like this, cut it like that. Of course, there'll be further refinements as we get closer to installing this whole piece into the garment. So let's just, okay, get that cut like that. Okay, now, and we're going to cut this something like that. Okay, now with that being done, we're going to stitch this to this. So let's go ahead to the sewing machine like that. Okay, now we come over here. Make sure that we get the right, okay, this. Okay, let's make sure we got this right. So do we want to do it this way or this way? I think. Because this, you don't want it that way. You want it this way. This is going to be an approximation of the foot of what that C. It's going to go like this. Okay, the foot of this is going to go something like this. So it's that option or that option. That much waste with that one. It's about the same amount of waste. It doesn't really matter. So let's do this. We're going to take this here, good side and good side. We're going to lay them over like this, and the seam will be made down this line. So let's go ahead. Here we are at the machine. So we're going to stitch the good sides together, something like this, 1/2 inch seam allowance. And this, by the way, is one of the reasons I use an industrial sewing machine, because with terry cloth, a home sewing machine would probably break several needles on one project. Whereas on this machine, I've been sewing on this machine for 5 years now on many, many projects, including a lot of heavy fabric. I made a full outfit, shirt and pants, all out of towels from Goodwill, similar to the towel I'm working on right now. We're going to do the flat seam now with the top stitching. We just made the edge stitch, and now we're doing the top stitch on the seam like this. Okay. All right. And that's one. Okay. Okay, so we get this sewn right now, okay? Now, let's just make sure the other one goes together the same way. Now, here's the other triangle, and here's the other piece. Now, it's going to be a mirror image of this. So let's put that like so. We're going to take the other piece, right side up, which is actually like this, okay? And you make sure, and that's it right here. So if I do this, this is a mirror image of this. So we're going to stitch this right side to this right side is the next stitch I'm going to do. We're going to lay them over right side to right side like this. Grab this, holding this, while I drag it over to the machine. Okay, let's see. We can do this like this. All right. Once again, We're doing the edge stitching now to hold the pieces together with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, like that, and like so, okay. Now we pull it over and do the top stitch. Double seam, which is always far more secure than just a single seam. Now it is quite thick, so it may be tricky on doing any sort of inside out or couture sewing, or if I have to deal with the pockets of a pair of pants or the fly of a pair of pants. But this shirt is going to be fairly simple. Okay, now we've got this done. Now let's go back here. All right, what we have now here. All right, so now that being the case, that now allows this edge will be stitched to another strip. So this now has this much thick. Now you can't see it, but this has this much thickness to this point here. So that is going to be from here over will be the strip, what we can do. So let's see, how can I see? If we may have to stitch to make this piece, this is going to come down to about here. It's going to go across to here, then continue on, and it's going to come to another. See, can you see that? No, let's see. Going to come to another edge here, so I'm going to need another triangle here to make this a long enough strip for the shirt. So unless there's a way I can deal with this, we could try an applique here to make this come out. So to give this, if we do an applique to here, we can extend this width another couple of inches, which will make it good and wide enough. Although, if we do this and we do the pocket strip, this should be wide enough for a shirt. Now, to check that out, let's get the pattern. What did I do? Oh, the pattern's over here. Now, here is the pattern. And the front shirt pattern is this one here. This is the front. Okay, let's get that one out of the way. So the pockets, so as it is, this is not wide enough to be the entire front. That is okay. Well, the thing is, though, we don't really want to cover this with the pockets. So if we add the pockets, to this, and this would come out to something like this with the pockets. Then this, as it is, from here, let's see, this. From here, oh, that's interesting. So we barely even use this. Let's see what happens if we turn this around. We turn this around like this. Let's get this one out of the way. We turn that around. Let's see, that is, yeah, so we get that. Get these out of the way, like that. Now, all right, so now, if we take this, if the pockets if the width of the pocket, if this, let's see now, think about that now. Let's say the pocket's this wide. If we go in by the width of the pockets, that will add that much to this, and we would still have a problem here. See, that's gonna add, wait a minute, I need to think. So, if the pockets go here, so if this is cut right at the edge and we add the pockets, we can go up to as far as here, but actually further in. So let's try something. And this allows this to be seen. The other direction, this would not have been seen. I want this to be seen. I want the towel to be seen. So let's do an experiment on both of these. We're going to take, let's see, where did I do it? The other one's right here. We're going to take, that one seams up, this goes seams down. Is that right? Yeah, like this. Get them lined up as best as possible, like that. So the outer seam is lined up. Let's see, can you see that? Yeah, the outer seam is lined up like this. Okay, now, get these flattened out and get all the wrinkles out of them. Okay, so not wrinkled. Okay, that's lined up. That's lined up. Now, if we do a straight cut to here, parallel to this, we've got this cut here, parallel to the table, like that. Now, if we do a straight cut, say, okay, if we do a straight cut here, where this will be extended for the pockets, okay? Now, if we do that, let's say the pockets go here. So let's pretend that the pocket strip will be here. This adds the width of the pocket. So the front of the shirt would be here, knowing there is a pocket strip that's going to go up to here somewhere. Now, let's take this. The pocket strip would go there. All right. Now, the pocket strip's going to go there. And you also have a button strip that can come further out. So actually, the pattern is going to end up coming here, which means that we bought some room here because the pocket strip can be stitched, the triangle, actually the pocket strip can be a triangle down, well it can't be, so we're going to have to do a cut. If we do, let's see, I got to think now, if we do a cut, if we cut this, say even narrower, like that. If we cut this here, like to here, oh darn it, you can't see it because that's too far over. Let's move this whole thing over. So we cut that to there. This would be the pocket strip. And this 3 inches would be the button strip to here, so the pattern would come to about here. That means then that would end up, that joint would end up here. If we cut this, if we cut this here. That joint will be above the shoulder. The pocket strip can go up further for the neck and the buttons, but it's going to be cut at a diagonal. This would be cut at a diagonal. As long as that diagonal meets here, then this has got plenty of room, because all you have to do is come out to here. So I'm going to, for it to be conservative, I'm going to cut it. That's an awful lot. This is actually damn close to the width of the shirt as it is. We may be able to do that. Okay, let's do this. Let's go ahead. We'll do the pocket strip like that. Then we'll probably have something for the back. But the length, let me pull this over here. The length is okay at this kind of cut for the length of the shirt. And that's okay. So let's go ahead and cut this straight here. Get these laid out flat. We'll cut this. Actually, get them matched. So this is 0 to what? That's going to be about 9 inches to this point. So let's go ahead. If I do that, let's make to that point, make that 9 inches. So that's going to have to come to the 9-inch line here. We're going to cut this here, okay? That will allow us to sew the pocket strip, which is going to extend up to accommodate the shoulder, and the button strip onto it. So let's cut the line. Let's see, take the other straight edge to here. Like that, make sure they're butted up. That's going to be lined up to the 9 inches there, and it is. Like it's a little off there. All right, now we're going to roll the cutter right down here, and then we're going to serge this line here. All right. Okay, still didn't cut there. Towel is hard to cut because of all the pile on it. Okay. This probably not all that useful. For now, I'm going to throw it away unless I find something useful for it. Okay, now. We've got this cut now. This needs to be run through the serger. So let's see. All right, there's the serger. Now, because we're going to be serging the towel, terry cloth, this can get a bit tricky. If I remember correctly, when I used to have a home or domestic serger, it was a Bernina Burnett serger, a fairly good serger, but it was still a domestic serger. I tried to serge, I think I tried to serge terry cloth and towels, and I think I broke a needle within the first foot of stitching. Here on this serger, this is an Ijimento, the Japanese industrial serger. I have done a fair amount of terry cloth sewing on this serger the terry cloth towel, shorts, and jacket from all towels from Goodwill and Salvation Army. That was done on this serger without any problem. You just have to take it really slow and not just floor it. And that's over and above everything else. I've had this machine for 5 years and still have yet to break a needle. Now, granted, I have run out of thread many times, but never actually, I don't think I even broke a thread on this machine. Okay, now we're done serging the edges here. So let's go ahead on back. Okay, let's go back to here. All right, now let's take these. Let's get the rest of the towel out of the way. Let's get the rest of, let's see, we only need the front of the pattern for now. So let's get the rest of the pattern out of the way. Otherwise, I'll probably cut it by mistake. Now, with that being done, all right, let's get these spread out so you can see them. They're mirror image of each other, something like this. Now, we just serged, actually the edge that we serged, let's do it this way, let's do it this way, do it this way like this. The edge that we serged is this here. We're going to put them together so they match. So they are pretty much a good mirror image. Okay, now once again, stop and think. Okay, to this edge, we're going to add a pocket strip, which would be the width of these pockets. Okay, something like that. So it's going to come out to here. Now, there may be, could be an interesting option. Since we have the room, let's take the pattern for a minute. Put this down. Now, let's see. No, other way. Now, if we were to take okay, so if we do this is the edge. See that? That is the end, or that's the bottom end. Well, actually, we can go further because this is beyond the edge of the shirt, okay? So we can go all the way down here, which buys us plenty of room for the length of the shirt. If we were to go all the way here, then we'll be constrained in the length, but we're way beyond. The pocket strip will go beyond the pattern. So we could do, let's think about this possibility. Remember, we have both let's get this one out of the way. So, here's a pocket. Okay, so we're going to add a pocket's width, like this, to this. It's going to be something like that, with some sort of strip, a little bit above it and a little bit below it, which I have not decided what that's going to be. Now, let's see, the center of the shirt. So the pocket would be something like that. You know, it's about 4 inches below the collar. Okay, now, so that means we add the length of the pocket strip, the width of the pocket strip like that. So that would put the pattern here, okay? And don't forget, I also have the button strip, but I actually put the pattern way out here. We're not even using much of this. I really want to use this. So let's bring this, say, to 2 inches. We add the pocket strip. Let's see. If we do this, let's say we use all but 2 inches of this, okay? Now, that means now the pockets will go halfway onto this. We could add a narrow strip here, okay? Then the pocket could be appliqued to both this and whatever strip I decide to use here. This allows more visibility, especially of the beauty of these fabrics here. So with that being said, if we add that strip further out, that can accommodate the shoulder, and then we'll be cutting the neck into that. So let's do this. We're going to cut a 4-inch strip of something to go from here down to about here on both of these. So with that, let's get this out of the way before I cut it by mistake. Let's get these out of the way before I cut those by mistake. And let's get this out of the way. Let's get both of these out of the way before I cut these by mistake. And believe me, I have ruined many a piece of work by careless cutting. So I make sure the table is clear. So here, we're going to get those folded and stashed. We're not going to bother using these. We're not going to bother using that. So I think right now we're just going to come up with something for that 4-inch strip. So let's see. Hold on a minute. I'm going to put it on standby while I go out to the fabric area. Well, we found something. This came from the scrap pile once again. Let's see. These were left over from another project. So we're going to take these. One side is already serged. Look at that. All we have to do is serge the other side and stitch them onto the side of those pieces. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, that camera got jogged out of position there. Let's see that. That looks fine there. The Serger camera, by the way, is wedged up against the bales of fabrics I have in my fabric shelves. So that's why it gets moved out around a lot, but there's no room by the Serger to get a tripod. So, and that's the only way to get a camera so you can see what's happening with the Serger. So, let's see. That looks okay there. All right, and that side is done. All right, let's do that. Very carefully. This is, the red fabric is quite thick. It is heavy upholstery fabric. The green and gold fabric is also upholstery fabric, but a lot lighter. So, all right, we got both sides of both of these strips. Serge, let's go back. All right. Here we are. Now let's lay these out. Lay them like that. Now, what do I want to do? Let's lay these out as well. Okay, so that, remember, is going to be going, I gotta remember this, the pieces will be going against this side. So we're gonna take one of these out of the way, and let's take, do I want to do it this way? We have a choice of doing it this way, like that, good side to good side. And let's try, let's see, limited room on here, but let's put the other one in place like this. All right, and take the other piece like that. All right, now, looking at that, now, the center of the shirt is going, okay, remember this, the pockets are going to go, find one of the pockets, grab both pockets. Now the pockets are going to go, let's see, it's going to be this way. The pockets will go something like this. They'll bridge this strip. Now remember, there's going to be a button strip in the center, like this. That'll be the center of the shirt. Then you have the pockets, which will bridge the two pieces here. And along with this strip, and then you have a clean button strip down the middle. That's true to most shirts. Now, with that, let's double check with the pattern. Let's see. So let's lay this. So the button strip, we lay the pattern here. Actually, let's see now. The button strip will come to about something like this. So the pattern will lay on this something like this. We still got plenty of this. You got a 2-inch strip here. The concern here is that we will need to move this. This strip has to be moved up something like that to accommodate that, something like that, okay? Which does still allow for the full length of the shirt. The button strip can go there as well. And that's with, actually, that's right. This, the edge, the pockets, edge here. The button strips would go there. That allows that to be there, and that allows, because that's going to be cut here, which allows a good, you can't see that either. Boy, that's going to allow this for length. So we have plenty of room for length if we do about 1 inch over here. I can't see that one, my gosh. So we do a 1 inch overlap here. Okay, so we can do that to both of these. Okay, so we get this out of the way. So this is, get the two pockets out of the way. This is good side out. Do we want to do it that way, or do we want to do this way? Now you have that. No, let's go ahead and do it this way. This allows all the color, the activity to be here. Then we work our way to a white button strip, which would be here. So it's kind of going from the activity here. It's all busy here. Then kind of a little bit more muted, and then fully a bit more muted, and then hopefully this will be white if I can find a suitable white fabric for the button strip in the center. So now, if I do this, now just realize something. See this? Right there. That could be a match joint like that. But can we do it on the other side, and would it still be symmetrical? So let's get these here. Now, can you see that? You can see that. If we move this to here, I get this, let's see, so that's going to be like that. That is not going to work because this is falling, I know you can't see it, but this is falling short here. So we're not going to be able to do a symmetry right on that. But let's do, say, let's do, say, a 2-inch offset on here to here. Same for the other side. So that means the blue will be here, over here. Then we move this to here. All right. That's symmetry to that, but we have a potential problem here. Let's see. We have a potential problem there. Okay, so that's not going to work. Let's bring this up 3 inches to 3 inches there. All right. That allows, wait a minute. Yeah, that allows the proper lengths here. It looks kind of symmetrical here. And that's more, okay, let's do that. So what we're going to do when we stitch this in the machine, we're going to start here. This is going to be the center focus. Those will be the same. And it appears that these will be close. Yeah, those will be the same here. These will be the same here. And it doesn't matter here. These will be close to the same. And these are far enough apart that the eye will not notice anything here. So this will be the focus here. So before we do anything, we're going to turn this over like that. Wait, wrong one. This gets turned over. So this is 3 inches off like that. We start stitching right here on that one. We turn that one over. Same thing. That's going to be about 3 inches or so off like that. We're going to start stitching here. So with that being done, those are together. We're going to go to the other camera on the sewing machine, get these out of the way, and carefully grasping these, we bring them to the machine so they don't slip. Now we check, make sure, yes, that's here and that seam is there. Okay, so we're going to start right here at the seam. Now can I, yeah, I can bring this closer in. Still not very good, but we have to live with it. So you can see it. The first seam is right here. The second seam is right there. Let's get them together about 3.5 inches apart. We're going to start here. We put that under the machine with a 1/2 inch seam allowance like this. And we're going to stitch towards the blue, which is, to get my hand out of the way, we're going to stitch towards the blue here. I know you can't see it. Oh boy, what can I do with the lights? Hold on. Let's see if that makes any difference. Can you see? It's still not very good. Right here. That's, yeah, that is just right there. Yeah, the blue one, and that's the other one. That's the best we can do because you just can't get light here unless I add another light over my shoulder. That's probably going to be the next project. So let's go ahead and stitch towards the towel on this one like this. Okay. All right, like that. That. Okay, and that. Okay, we've done that. Now we turn this around like this. But we have to go back to where we started. Okay, now we're going to start the other direction. Okay, which is like that. Hold that down. We go to the opposite direction on the same side. That way the same tensions will be identical. But we're going to do the other side the same way. There, like that. Okay. Okay, now that's that side. Now remember, we started from where the red and the blue seam are here. So, and we started going down this way. Now, to do a mirror image of that, let's bring the other one over. Make sure, okay, so let's make sure that we stitch towards, okay, now it's going to be, make sure that they're laid out the same. So let's open this one up like that. So we got 4 inches between the blue and the red and the blue and the brown. So let's make sure that's the same here. Here's the blue and the red here, right there. Here's the blue and the brown here. So let's bring these to about 3.5 to 4 inches apart. Okay, like that. Okay, now we're going to start at the blue and the red where we started the other one. So that's up here now. Now you notice I'm on the other side of the foot because I want to keep the direction the same. Okay, we're going to steer towards the terry cloth as we've done before, but we're on the other side of the machine because this is a mirror image than the other one. So here we go. We're going to start from that seam again. And go down like this. that. Like that. So we got that side is done. Now, maintaining the same side up, we turn it around. Now remember, we did the first piece. The second run was on the opposite side of the machine. So now we're on the outside of the machine with a second run here. We start from the same point, and we go out. That way, if there's any slip-ups, they should be more or less symmetrical, or at least enough symmetrical so when you're seeing me on the street or even from 3 or 4 feet away, you would not notice any glaring differences between the right and the left as far as that seam is concerned. Now, I never planned for that. That was a pleasant surprise that I could do those with symmetry. Now, let's go ahead. We've done this side. Let's go ahead and fold it over and do the top stitch on this one. We're doing the top stitch on the red. It's easier to do that because the towel is thicker to fold that over. So the towel, we're going to leave the towel going straight out and force the lighter fabric to fold over. So the top stitch on the red, as you can see, to make this a double seam, which is a more secure seam. All right, that, continue on up. Now, some of these may be tricky. There's a seam right here that's going to add thickness. So we're going to take it slow. If there's any potential for breakage for the needle, it would happen there. Looks like we're okay. Now we're coming to the blue and the gold, which is going straight, so that's not going to do any more stress on here. And let's see that. Okay, so we got that, and that is right there. So that's done. Well, that's one. All right. Now, the other one, same thing. We're going to go same side, and we're going to turn it around. We're going the same direction, but it's on the opposite side of the machine. So here we are. All right, that. Okay. Don't mind that pounding you're hearing. Somebody is working on a project next door. I don't know if they're podcasting it like I am or not, but you're just going to have to do a search for building project on East Victor Street here in Bellingham, Washington, happening at whatever that is, at 2 o'clock on Monday, what the heck the date is, Monday, September 27th. So you might find another video going on, live stream on doing some pounding, but I don't know. So here we are. This is now done. Now let's lay these out again. Okay, now. Here we are. These are now in place. Okay. So here is the machine. Now remember, there's going to be a button strip here, guessing about that wide. The pockets are going to be something like this. So the edge of the pockets will line up with the edge here, and the pockets will bridge this to this. It's going to look something like that with that pocket, and similarly with that pocket. The pockets are not the same, but remember, this is a piece of art. It's just by sheer luck that we found the symmetry between here and here all from scrap. Now, the next step is to come up with the button strip, but before we do that, let's verify with the pattern that we're still okay. So now, knowing that the pockets are here, the button strip is going to be something like that. Now, that means now the button strip starts from here. Let's see, make sure the button strip, the pattern goes like this somehow, something like this. We've got clearance here, and we got plenty of clearance on the other side. So we got clearance here for the top. We go over here, there's plenty of clearance for the bottom. So this will do the length of the shirt once it's cut out. So we're going to cut a 3-inch piece, 3-inch wide piece of white fabric that's this long from here. Let's see, can we see that? From here all the way down to here, 3-inch wide piece. That's going to be the button strip. That's going to be white or a single solid color, whatever I can find. So please stand by while I go digging through my fabric pile. I can find, okay, so we go. All right, it looks like I'm lucky. It's a beautiful yellowish white jacquard fabric. Fairly large piece, but look at this. There's already a seamed edge, so I don't have to serge this edge. So I'm going to do, there's 2 layers here. I'm going to cut 2, I'm guessing 4 inches just to be conservative, and not edges here to go from here all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom, something like that. Okay, so we're going to get this out of the way. That, like so. Get that out of the way, like that. Get these lined up. And then we'll know that they don't have to be exactly lined up because this will be cut to pattern once the mosaicing is done. So that, get that, like so. All right, let's get, let's see. Two of these together like this. I'm going to cut it. This back on the shelf. All right, now with this now, this edge here is already sewn to a serge. This edge we don't care about because this has to be cut to the pattern. This will have a different cut on it, so we're not going to bother serging that now. That means we don't have to do any serging with this step. So we're going to stitch one of these onto each one of these. So that's going to be simple. Just lay it down back to back like that. And for the other one, which is here, we do the same. Now, let's see, this, let's see, how do we want, okay, so that's going to be like that. Now, this, wait a minute, oh, I know what okay, that's what I thought. Now, the right side of this, I believe, is the formal side that's shiny. We turn this one over, okay? Since there is no repeating pattern, we don't have to start in the middle of this. I mean, there's no focus of the pattern here. Like this is the focus here, okay? So this provide a match. That's a focus. There's no focus here. We're just going to simply start at the top here on each one of these and do a simple stitch down. No serging necessary. This is going to be fairly simple. So let's go to the sewing machine. Before I do that, let me check on any comments. Okay. All right, let's get this over to here. All right, do a standard 1/2 inch seam allowance. Make sure the right sides are the right sides. Yep. Always double check that. It's so easy to sew the wrong side to the wrong side. You have to do what's called a rip a seam, which is really tricky. It has to be done by hand, one stitch at a time, without tearing into the fabric. Use a seam ripping tool, and it is not easy and it's very tedious. So, and believe me, almost every project I've had to do that at least once. All right, one right there. Okay, now we do the other one at the same point. Now, because these are, we don't have to worry about matching these to anything, so we're just going to start at the same point, but go opposite in the machine, so the stresses are going to be symmetrical. So something like this. All right, that's fairly straightforward. End of that. Okay, now we do the pull it open and stitch down, and the yellow is the thinnest, so it's going to go onto that side, and something like this. Okay, one. We do the other one. Okay, like that, like that. Okay. Okay, now we're done. Now let's go back. All right, now. Shirt's going to look something like this. This will be folded back because it has to be stitched with the interfacing. So the front of the shirt's going to look something like that. Okay, you can see the match between here and here and here and here. Now, the pockets are going to go something like, let's see, here. Okay, and the other one, how did I do with it? Over here, so there it is. Okay. Something like, see, that won't go in the yellow. It goes here. My mistake. The pockets, let's see, wait a minute now. No, the pockets will go to the yellow, but not beyond the yellow. So it's going to be like that. I think I'm right. Then that is what it's going to look like. Now let's get this oriented right. Let's see. So that's the center of this is going to be something like that. See, this is the center of the shirt here. So really, this seam this has to go beyond the center. That being the case, the pockets, room for the pockets there. Let's see, did I have that right? I want to make sure. Now, that being good, when I sized this, I didn't think of the seam allowances. So we may end up being tight after all, because, well, that's interesting. Okay. Because, see, this is just simple. It's got to be something like this. We still have room there. It looks like we're okay. Barely, but I had forgotten about the seam allowances when I was doing the rough measuring. But everything looks okay. Even if it weren't, we could have added another strip, something like that. It looks like we're okay with this. My next step would be to put the pockets in. Let's see how we're doing for time. We are at an hour and 13 minutes right now. We're flirting close to the limit for Access Bellingham Television. And I know it's going to take me longer than 15 minutes to do these. So we're going to take a break now. When we come back, we'll probably be doing these, or I may do these on my own. Then we'll start on the back of the shirt. We'll do all the decorating first, then we cut to pattern. So, with that, see, the laptop camera is still frozen, so let's just go back here. So, till next time, I love you all.